Volodymyr Zelenskyy is in Brussels, meeting with NATO defense ministers. He's trying to gather support for his victory plan in the war with Russia. The Ukrainian president spoke alongside NATO's new Secretary General Mark Rutte today.
Ukraine truly deserves to become the third NATO member one day, and we must do everything to ensure this happens. That is why the first fundamental point in the victory plan is the invitation to NATO.
The CBC's Dominic Velitis has more on the response Zelenskyy is receiving.
I think there's little doubt that allies are willing to continue supporting Ukraine in terms of things like cash and military aid. For example, the United States recently announced an additional $425 million worth for Kyiv. And NATO last night, on the eve of today's big summit in Brussels, said that member states were now on target to provide $60 billion worth by the end of this year. And additional support announced today too from Greece and Norway for Ukraine's F-16 fighter jet program. The problem, Andrew, is Zelensky's so-called victory plan isn't yet gaining the traction with allies that he would have perhaps been hoping for. This morning he of course pitched it to leaders at the European Union, and then this afternoon to defence ministers at NATO, also in Brussels. But still, Andrew, no sign that Ukraine's most powerful allies are ready to support the more sensitive elements of his victory plan, especially, as you heard from himself a minute ago, its first crucial point, that being an immediate invitation to Ukraine to join NATO. Now, some countries in the alliance are more sympathetic than others to such an idea. Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia are just three examples. No surprise there, perhaps, considering their close proximity to Russia. But Ukraine's most powerful allies, the United States, Germany, and of course the NATO alliance, are far more cautious about this idea of issuing Ukraine with an immediate invitation to join the alliance through fear of provoking an escalation with Russia. Now, NATO, for one, Andrew, maintains that Ukraine will one day join the alliance, but its Secretary General, Mark Rutte, has said that members need the time and the space to study Zelensky's victory plan in detail. And that's a fair position for NATO to take, I think, Andrew, because some of them have only just got their hands on it. The problem, though, is that Kyiv doesn't necessarily have the luxury of time. Russian forces are on the march in eastern and southern Ukraine. They're pushing back as well in Russia's Kursk region. And there is, of course, this allegation that Zelenskyy himself has made that North Korean soldiers are now fighting alongside Russian forces in Ukraine. And let's not forget as well, Andrew, that there is, of course, a US presidential election just around the corner, the result of which could dramatically change things for Ukraine in terms of American support. So Zelenskyy very much under pressure. He needs support for his victory plan to work, and soon as well, because without that international support, it simply won't work, Andrew.